Hello and welcome to Fifth and Grace. Today we are diving into the Portugal house that reportedly Harry and Meghan have purchased. But the question really is this Harry's exit strategy? Is this how he's going to sort of step himself back towards London? And because I mean, obviously, every reading we've done, it shows he's out. If you follow other tarot readers, they're all showing the same thing. He's out. He's gone. He's walked away from all this. And so this house situation, so there is the curiosity of, did they really buy the house, or has Meghan just released something? Because she is putting a lot of stuff out into the media these days. Notice he isn't. Notice how quiet he is right now. So the question around all of it is, is he trying to get back into the royal family? And this is a first step, because then he's just, I don't know how long it takes to fly from London to Portugal, but I'm going to assume it's a couple of hours. Europe's small. So I'm going to assume it's maybe a couple hours to fly there. And there's all kinds of things swirling around both of them. There's the missing $4 million that the IRS did not get reported to them. If Donald Trump is elected, he will evict Harry at least. There's the Diddy connection, because it's looking stronger and stronger and stronger that Harry was there at these Diddy parties. So there's a lot of things that could be causing problems for him in the future, and this could be his exit. The curious thing that everybody's talking about is, like, why is he worried about children having internet, and he hasn't seen his children in something like 3 weeks now, perhaps? So, curious things going on. He may have walked away from that mission as well to get the internet censored. Because, the whole Meghan pity party thing is about, so she can say, see, this is why we need the internet censored, because people are bullying me online. And it's like, well, I think there's a lot of reports about you being a bully, so I guess you'd know a little bit about that. So what we want to know today is this Harry's next move towards returning to the royal family? If you go back a few videos, they're all in my celebrity gossip playlist. If you go back a few videos, there's a lot of questions there about, did he exit? Has he left? What's going on? Are they still together? There's all kinds of things going on. Who's he running from? I think he's running from a whole bunch of people, particularly Meghan. And I think he's working his way back. He did that little tour where he cosplayed at being a working royal, and so that was good practice for him. And my suspicion is that they'll do with Harry the same thing that they did with Andrew. So it's well known, it's being said all over the internet, that people will forgive Harry, but they're never going to forgive Meghan. And I think that's very true. I actually don't believe she's going to be around for as long as people normally are. I did, in a meditation, get a vision of William receiving a phone call, that he's been woken up. The vision was that someone on staff was waking him up and saying, and it was like the middle of the night kind of thing, saying, you need to take this call from America. And that something has happened. Don't know what that is, but it would definitely be connected to Harry. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It would be important enough to wake up the Prince of Wales to make him take this call from, especially regarding his brother. He has no interest in his brother, doesn't want anything to do with him. So this is the question. Is this Harry's exit? Is this him running home as opposed to running away from home? So, of course, this reading is for entertainment purposes only. We're just playing with pretty cards and telling stories. There's, you know, nothing factual going on here, just some psychic downloads and some tarot messages. So we're going to start pulling some cards and see what comes out. We'll cut, oh, geez. We'll just cut the deck a little bit. There we go. And we'll see what comes out. 10 of Swords in reverse. Oh my gosh. 10 of Wands in reverse. And Judgment. I'm going to look up some timings here, simply because they're quite interesting. The 10 of Swords is very much upright. It's about completions, but it's also about like breakdowns of things. It's about defeat. It's definitely about breakdowns, mental breakdowns, relationship breakdowns, you know, like conversation breakdowns, contracts being ended, things like that. In reverse, this is basically telling us that perhaps he's over the worst. I think the realization of what's going on might have come to him, and he's got people around him basically explaining narcissism to him and trauma bonds and everything else. So hopefully he is getting the care that he needs. Do I think he's an innocent in this? Absolutely not. He went along with it. So, you know, we all have to take responsibility for our role in our relationships and the breakdowns of them. And that includes our romantic relationships and relationships with our friends and our families and everything else. So yeah, he's, you know, he has to take responsibility for how he handled things. At the same time, you know, as I've said probably in every single video about this, these narcissists are slick. They get you and you don't even realize it. They, you know, the mirroring behavior, the love bombing, all of that kind of stuff would definitely be luring him in and making him think he's found his soulmate. And yeah, not good, not good. But this is about, this tells us he's going to rise above this. He's survived the ruin of his life, and he's going to be on the road to fixing it. This is about escape, pulling yourself together, like getting it back together. So I think this is perhaps his move when he's, you know, with this house in Portugal, which, by the way, the people there are not happy about this. And my next reading is going to be asking the question, is Meghan going to go to Portugal? And if she does, oh my God, people are not going to be happy, because she's not going to be content to live in a quiet little town with no notoriety and no cameras following her and no publicity and things like that, because those people don't want that there. So they will fiercely protect their community when it comes to that kind of thing. So this, our 10 of Wands in reverse. So if it was upright, it would be about, again, about completion, but also being overburdened and, you know, an uphill struggle and taking on too much. And, you know, I think he did. I think he took on something that he was not equipped for. He was not prepared for. He was not, you know how it's like, you know what, you were born for this. Yeah, he was not born for what he got himself into. He was born to be a royal and do that job. And that's the only job he actually knows how to do, which is why they've had so many epic failures. Meghan is a businesswoman, or so she thinks she is. She's trying to be. He has no idea why somebody might need a job, might need a business to make money to pay their bills. He's never had to do this in his life. So I think this is a huge part of the problem, is he's like, yeah, I was not raised to seek out the camera, especially with paparazzi and things like that. Of course, he's going to have some animosity considering how his mother died. So there's definitely, seeing this in reverse lets us know there's been an absolute breakdown in his life. And this is, you know, I'm going to guess this is him escaping. You know, he could say he worked hard and got nowhere, but yeah, I wouldn't say he worked hard. He did stuff and got nowhere. But here, I think this is him. That part is complete. We've got 2 completion cards here. That part of his life is complete. He's not going back to it. I'd be shocked if he's going back to it. The timing on this card is December 13th to the 21st. So there's some stuff coming up. I think over the next few months, I think February will be the time, and the cards have said this previously in my other past readings about Harry and Meghan, that February is when we will start hearing some actual real news. There's going to be some movement involving something. I don't think the palace would put out statements like this right near Christmas. I think they would be like, no, let's wait till the new year and then we'll make announcements. Because, you know, the British people are really into Christmas, right? Like, this is a big deal. And I just don't think that King Charles would want the image tainted right before the holidays when everybody's waiting for the king's message on Christmas Day and things like that. So we have our Judgment card. The Judgment card is coming out a lot for this guy, because this is about a new awareness of a situation. He's probably learned a lot about Meghan over the last few weeks, because everybody's going to be keeping him up to date. When he was in her bubble, her, you know, under her protection and care and everything else, she probably didn't even let him know these things. But now that he's away from her, he's definitely finding out things. And this is about seeing things with new eyes and waking up to a new situation, not getting woke, but waking up. And it's like a new life change. And because it's a major arcana, it's a big change. So this card also speaks to becoming aware of something in a relationship. So he's learning a lot about his wife. He's learning a lot about what she's been doing, and it's that what she's been doing, and that the effect that has had on him. See, I did spit it out eventually. Gosh, 7 of Wands in reverse. Oh my goodness. 7 of Wands in reverse. I'm just going to look up. I like looking up the timings just to see if we can predict some dates coming up. This is a summer date. So there's probably been a lot of things that happened in the summer that we maybe aren't aware of. Those behind the scenes things. But the 7 of Wands definitely in reverse is giving up, admitting defeat. It's about quitting, surrendering, and it's basically like compromising your beliefs. I do get the sense that he had to be somebody he's not used to being in order to be with this woman. And I don't necessarily believe this was a love relationship. I think this was a business relationship. I think she was put there to do something, and she captured him and isolated him from his family so that they could do this together. But I think he's opened his eyes to the whole situation. A couple weeks away can give you some good clarity about things. You know, I know, like, when I was young and single, if I was dating somebody and then they went away on holiday and I didn't speak to them for a week because, you know, back then we didn't have internet, if I didn't miss them, that was a pretty good indication that this is not working. And also too, if I felt relieved that they were gone, yeah, it's time to break up. It's done. It's done. But I think that he's compromised himself so much that he probably needs to figure out who he is again. And of course, so much has happened that will have changed him and affected him. You know, we are the sum of all of our experiences. So he definitely has some work to do going forward. The Hermit. No kidding. No kidding. Oh my gosh. This man needs to retreat. This card is connected to August. So I think, and which is right before he went on this trip, like a month before he went on this trip and left. So I think he has retreated. He has pulled back into himself, and he's now realizing he has betrayed himself. He's betrayed his family, and he's trying to come to terms with that. He's taking some time alone. Obviously, we know that. I mean, I'm not shocked to see this here. Taking some time alone to contemplate and heal and lick his wounds and all the things that we do when our life kind of implodes. it is important to remember that the Hermit is heart-led. The Hermit is the only character in the tarot that has their own light. And in this case, the Hermit is female. In a lot of decks, the Hermit is male. So that's why I said there, rather as opposed to his or her. So there's, oh, and you know what I just noticed is there's like an owl up here. You know, I'm gonna pull this closer so you can see there's a little owl sitting there on the branch. Some wisdom. He's getting some good wisdom. He's learning a lot, and he's just through the experience, but he's also getting good wisdom as well to get him out of this situation. And he hopefully soon we will start seeing him leading with his heart and leading himself with his heart and returning back to the fold. And I think that the royal family, I can't remember if I finished saying that, I think that they will do the same thing they did with Andrew, and they will kind of let him come back. Of course, he's family. They're not going to turn away their family. He's going to go on a little apology tour with everybody, and then they'll keep him under lock and key for a while and get him deprogrammed and back on track. And then we'll probably start seeing him, I'm not going to say this Christmas, but maybe the following Christmas, we might see him pop up on the church walk that they do on Christmas Day at Sandringham. They walk to the little beautiful little church. All the public comes out to see them, you know, and everybody's there, and they do their little pap walk up to the church for their Christmas service. So that's the kind of thing where I think we're going to start seeing. It will probably be a long time before he's a true HRH working royal again. But this isn't the end of the story. Not at all. The Five of Pentacles. I think he's going to feel some despair. He's not going to have the life he had. He's not going to, you know, be the rich and famous, glamorous, jet-setting prince that we all knew. He's going to have to take a step down. He's definitely going to feel the loss, because there's a lot of money involved in his life. He's got that house in Montecito, which I don't know if they rent or they own it, but that's going to cost a lot of money. There's the $4 million that is unaccounted for, and the IRS will not let that one go. And then there's all these business deals, like he's got a book deal, so he still has to write more books. And if he doesn't write them, he has to give the money back. So I think we are actually in this case going to see some negative financial moments for him. I don't normally use this card as a negative card. It's just more like changes in finances. But I think in this case, it will actually negatively impact him because he can't like earn a living. He doesn't know how to work. He doesn't know how to have a job. He knows how to be charming and handsome and wear nice clothes and shake hands and do all that stuff. But he doesn't know how to actually like run a business or start a company or, anything else in the way that some other royals do. I think that Edward and Sophie, they had a production company or something like that. So there's definitely some royals who've been able to effectively do it, and because they're not banking on their personality, they're banking on their skills. So they're all meant to be quite educated. So it seems reasonable that, say, the York girls who aren't working royals, they would have their own jobs and companies and businesses and things like that. Our Three of Swords. Oh, and you know what? I'm going to return to the Five of Pentacles for 1 second. The date on that is April 21st to 30th. So next year. So everything is falling in line. Go listen to all the rest, the playlist of the royal videos. Everything is falling in line in time-wise, in the timeline. And so our Three of Swords, obviously, betrayal. He betrayed people. He's been betrayed. There's all kinds of things going on here. This date is actually passed. This card is connected to October 3rd to 12th. So I'm going to guess in that time period of this month, he really, there was like a dark night of the soul. There was a lot of emotion. There was probably a lot of realization. At some point in every relationship, you have to come face to face with the truth. And that may be the moment where he started to actually really believe what people are telling him. It's one thing to say, yeah, I know, but to really believe it and see it for yourself. In reverse, this is about releasing pain. This is about him overcoming things. This is about the healing process starting. So definitely a good sign for him. I absolutely think that he will be okay. It's just going to take a long time, and for people to forgive him. The Sun, the card of healing. Absolutely. The card of healing. Let's see if we have a date. I should have them all memorized, but I don't. There's no date connected with this. But this is optimistic. This is joyful. This is, I would say, oftentimes if I saw this card for a woman, depending on where it might land, I might ask her, are you pregnant? Because this is very much about fertility, creating new life. So this is him creating a new life. I think he's going on his own to Portugal. I don't think Meghan's going. She'd hate it there anyway. If she hated it in London, why does she think she's going to love it in Portugal? I mean, seriously, it's not going to be the life that she thinks. And you cannot be the kind of person who's like, oh, I want my privacy, 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 but then be putting out all these different articles and nonsense like that. So definitely, this is him birthing a new life, essentially. Our Sun always is about healing and then moving on to a new life. It is, in the major arcana, it's card number 19. So we're getting towards the end of the cycle. And, it's about renewal. It's about somebody who's gone through something and they need to rebuild their life and put their life back together. And this will only work if he actually takes the time to do what he needs to do. The healing work, the apology tour, the detachment. He's probably going to have to see somebody who specializes in narcissism to sort of basically untangle him energetically and everything from Meghan and everything that she's done. But this looks like a really positive card. And the Magician, of course, the Magician. He does have it all. He will have it all again. Our Magician is the archetype of having it all. When I see this as say in a love reading or a relationship reading, if this pops up as the actual outcome, this tells me that everybody's going to have everything they want. So this is him having it all. He will return back to the royal family. Absolutely. And let's just see what the bottom card is. The Star. The Lovers. So it will be a partnership that he will be returning to work. It will be in his role as a working royal. All right, there's no timeline, no timing connected to our Magician, so that could be any time. And this card is May 21st to June 20th. I don't believe it's going to be 2025, but he will get there. There will be, he's returning back to the people who share the same values he does. I think he was totally a fish out of water in California, and he's now returning back to who he was, to his values, to his lifestyle, and the people around him who share that, where that's comfortable, where that is something easy for him to slide back into. And of course, he will have it all. So there we go. I think that he is moving on his own to Portugal, and that this is his plan, is to just slowly make his way back to London and to be living at wherever, Windsor or Buckingham Palace or wherever they put their disgraced royals till they are rehabbed back into popularity. But yeah, this tells me there's going to be a partnership taking place as he moves forward, that and will be helping him get back into the royal family. I thank you for joining me today. If we're old friends, thank you for coming back. And if we're new friends, I look forward to getting to know you. All the links that I have are down in the description. Be sure to check them out. And of course, the playlist of all of my celebrity gossip videos. And once again, for entertainment purposes only, we just play with pretty cards and tell stories around here. So I'm wishing you the most beautiful and magical day. Don't forget to subscribe and click the thumbs up.